So today I'm sitting in my car and I'm having a holy moment. Actually, which is the name of a really extraordinary book that I found in a book box that literally I just melted into and disappeared for like an hour while I read the whole thing, which wasn't a very long book, but it was very magical. It was very beautiful. It was very powerful. And I just so happened to be taking a walk, excuse me, and stumbling upon it and being like, oh wow, this could not be a more perfect book. So, as I was just doing a little bit of reading as I'm taking a break from what was already working this morning, I was getting ready to take a walk and I was like, let me do a little something before I do that. So, I had pulled, an oracle card from my wild and sacred feminine deck. And I'm going to read this card because I think it's really powerful and it's really important to be reminded of this. It is the Dolphin card, which is embodiment, and the shadow of embodiment is disconnection. Something that we have the ability to experience sometimes in life and to not understand why we're experiencing it. And it can hurt our well-being. And so it's important to understand. And this message is really profound, so I'm sharing it. There's a quote that goes along with this card that says, of something far more deeply interfused, emotion and a spirit that impels and rolls through all things. That quote is by William Wordsworth. The Dolphin embodiment card says this: Dolphin is the keeper of prana, Sanskrit for the energy of pure consciousness, which manifests as your life breath. Like prana, dolphin is both cosmic as well as embodied, just as you are. Primal energy swims through you as you swim through it, saturating you with vital flow. Dolphin dances with this vibrational potential. She effortlessly harmonizes water and air to integrate emotional sensitivity, lively intelligence, fluid movement, and unity consciousness into a joyful totality of being. Today, Dolphin playfully approaches you as a reminder that this quintessential aliveness is intrinsic to your wild and holy nature. Dolphin wisdom celebrates you as a spiritual being who has chose to incarnate here on earth right now. We all chose to be here. She teaches us that you are here to experience the lusciousness and discomfort of being embodied, being human, feeling our feelings, experiencing life, being honest. This living and breathing themselves is a divine experience. Every single one of us. And we get pulled outside into so many different things that create our character and create our reality and our understanding, when the sacredness is everywhere around us in the most simple things that we do. And sometimes we have to remember to come back to the simplicity of life and to come back to presence and come back to the present moment. We come into breath. We become friends with our breath. We become aware of our breath. We want it to be present within us so we know we're alive, we're breathing, we're paying attention, we're being intentional, we're creating a relationship with breath. It is the very thing that sustains our life and moves the life force within us and allows us the ability to express and be and breathe and be grounded and present in the moment. When you feel disconnected from your vital essence, sense the subtle energies pulsing through your body. Just be still and witness your fingers or your feet, your knees, your shoulders, your jaw. Focus on one part of your body to bring you into intention and to feel your aliveness. The heat pooling around your heart, the soothing rhythm of your breath, the sensual pleasure of skin on skin, or take a feather, tickle yourself, rub something soft on yourself, tickle yourself. With this awareness, your presence can expand to fill your whole being, and like dolphin, your enlivening movements will make it tangible and boundless spirit. As you open up to layers of embodiment, energy that has been constricted may surface to be healed. Because once we tune into ourselves, sometimes that can bring such a presence into the present moment after being so detached from ourselves through different periods of time, through going through experiences and having to suppress or oppress or, ignore our own feelings. And they just sit within us. And then when they sit within us, they fester, they stay, they boil up, and then, sometimes we come to a breaking point that we finally tap in and tune in, and we have the ability to feel those emotions and be like, wow, let me release that heaviness. Let me release that stress in my jaw. Let me release all that weight on my shoulders. Let me release the heaviness from my hands of carrying all the weight of the world of life up until this moment. Proceeding slowly. And know that emotions can move through you like waves, arising and expressing and receding. Allow yourself to inhibit this ebb and flow, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. To feel the buoyancy of unadulterated joy, you must also be able to experience the gravitas of pain. Friend to those stranded at sea, the dolphin ensures you will not get lost in this vast ocean of feeling, ever. But it's important to do so. Sorry, my incense fell. And went out. Oh well, that's okay. I'm about to go on a walk anyway. How will you be saved from your emotions? Tapping into your breath. And the more embodied in your breath you become, the more your body moves the emotion that's going on within, and things come to the surface and allow to be released. Dolphins' exuberant embodiment is closely linked to their mastery of breath. They hold theirs as they swim underwater, and then they surface. A powerful, clearing exhale precedes the next inhale. To move energy and release emotion, Dolphin guides you to practice letting go through a deep out breath. Sometimes we can notice ourselves sigh in a moment. Those are unspoken feelings and emotions. Sometimes it's relief, sometimes it's stress, sometimes there's a different story behind that. But it is something that arises, that arrives. To be witnessed, to be looked at, to be honored. To move energy and release emotion, Dolphin guides you to practice letting go through deep out breath. I once did this meditation practicing, you breathe in golden light, or white light, or blue light, or purple light, or pink light, or something, and then you exhale black, negative, darkness, brown, gray, whatever, something that does not exude whatever you're trying to cultivate while you're trying to let go. Then as you breathe in, welcome the flow of spirit into your physical body. This full breath of life connects you to something deeply infused, emotion that runs through all things. Because whether we see it or not, everything around us is alive and it's breathing, it's living, it's moving, it's vibrating. Even the rocks are alive with minerals, just like the same things that go on inside our internal being. We're filled with minerals and cells and water and fluids and vitamins that we need to keep ourselves functioning. And our breath is the very thing that pushes the energy through the body, through the Nadi channels, NADIS, that allows the flow of prana and the movement of all things to go through, the heart pumping, the blood flowing, all of the things that are going on. That's how we push out our energy instead of absorbing other people's energy too, because it helps us to push out 432, our auric field, and repel things that we should not be even attracting within our energetic field. It gives us the ability to exude out energy, to push out and push away. That's how we shine our light into the world too. Breath work is a phenomenal practice. I remember my little cousin telling me about Wim Hof, and I've heard a lot of people talk about his practices, but as a woman who has had children, I went to Lamaze class and learned how to breathe. Because it's one of the most powerful and important things we have. Going through different states of understanding, of meditation, and just really understanding that sometimes, even just like when we're angry, I just was having a conversation with a gentleman today, a stranger, for like an hour. And I said to him, sometimes instead of reacting to life, we have to take a deep breath and count to 3 so we can think clearly, because sometimes our emotions, especially when they're very repressed or suppressed, we have the ability to react in a moment, and sometimes that's not the answer, because sometimes that creates more chaos, more controversy in our lives. When we become focused on our breath, it calms us, brings us into the present moment, back to ourselves, to say, how am I going to handle this problem, instead of just reacting? Let me answer this, intentionally, instead of just reacting and blurting something out, or, just reconvening and being like, I got this, I can handle this, everything is okay. Because sometimes we need those reminders, even when it's something simple like being stuck in traffic, or when we're having an argument with someone, or, a disagreement at work, or dealing with a difficult interaction, and we say to ourselves, I'm gonna just take a deep breath, come back right here, because that's where you come back into the conscious awareness of truth. Truth is right here, right now, in this moment. It's not out anywhere, but it either aligns on the outside or it doesn't. And through awareness, we have the ability to understand that, and then learn how to better navigate through life, so we can overcome the obstacles that we face of being continually faced with the same challenges over and over again, which is essentially what we're trying to get out of, whether we know that or not. We're trying to evolve. We're trying to live a happy life. We're trying to be happy, healthy, successful, all the things. And all of that begins right here with understanding ourselves and how we're responding and reacting to the world outside of us. So anyways, I found that to be a really powerful card. Ooh, bless me, excuse me. And it reminded me of the beginning of my journey a few years ago, which is really odd because I'm wearing this headband and I have not worn it in a really long time, but I need to wash my hair, but it says love, 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 love. I haven't worn it for quite a few years, actually. Actually, I think the last time that I wore this, I was being recorded for the news, oddly enough, but this headband is a reminder of so many things, positive and negative, and really just a conversation that I had this morning. And so when I was like, oh, let me read one of my oracle cards before I go on a walk, after I just did some writing, after I just read a little, after I just stuffed my face with some fruit, I said, let's read a card. And I felt like that is super appropriate, because we all want to live in a better world, and a better existence, and that begins within ourselves. That begins with our interactions on the outside, and I think that's important to remember. So I leave you with this, and I thank you for listening, and I hope this was helpful. Be safe, be at peace, and be well. Love.